Rahul Gandhi questioning by the ED has taken a really ugly turn, with the Congress leaders launching a nationwide protest which has turned quite ugly. We're looking at shocking word of words. Here, a bunch of Congress netas stooping low. In Maharashtra, a Congress neta called Sheikh Hussain abuses the Prime Minister in such low-level language. He says, and I quote, "You will die like a street dog." This is what he says as he makes a public speech condemning ED summons on Rahul Gandhi. Here, this Congress neta, Hussain, says to the Prime Minister, "You will die like a street dog." This is precisely the statement he has made on a public platform, stunning low in Indian politics. Unbelievable attack on Prime Minister Modi as he makes this statement in public. An FIR now registered against Maharashtra Congress leader Sheikh Hussain at the Giti Khadan police station in Nagpur for using derogatory language against the Prime Minister.
गरीबों के, आदिवासियों के, तमाम अल्पसंख्यकों के जो काम करना है, आज नागपुर से हिंदुस्तान में बेरोजगारी बढ़ रही है, उनको रोजगार देने का काम करो, किसानों की समस्या हल करने का काम करो, जो काम करना है वो छोड़कर ये फालतू के काम करना बंद करो, नहीं तो नरेंद्र मोदी तेरा वही हाल होगा। फिर आप क्या बोलेंगे कि जैसे कुत्ते की मौत होती है ऐसे नरेंद्र मोदी की मौत होगी।
Let me quickly cut across to Shehzad Poonawalla joining us on the phone line for more on that. Shehzad, here is Sheikh Hussain, a Congress leader in Maharashtra who makes a publicly derogatory statement in public, says that the Prime Minister will die like a dog, a street dog. This is what he says on a public platform. An FIR has been registered against him. How does the BJP receive this?
Nabila, if you hear the full statement in the initial part, he has not only openly threatened the Prime Minister, these are not just derogatory remarks, he's also spoken about the country being set on fire. So this is open threat. And if you see the entire 3 days proceedings, Rahul is silent on corruption and Congress is violent on the streets, whether it's the tire burning in Delhi, whether it's the assault on the cops in Assam, whether it is this open threat in Nagpur, whether it is the hostage that they've held Delhi for last 3 days. This is a design of Congress that in order to mask the corruption of the first family, in order to give them protection, they are leading to obstruction and complete annihilation of the country. And therefore, we ask the Uddhav Thackeray government, why hasn't this man been arrested yet? They arrest people for Hanuman Chalisa, they arrest Ketki Chitare and other actors, but they don't arrest this man who's spewing venom against the country, against the Prime Minister. This shows the design. The larger question is that this is not a satyagraha, this is a violent duragraha, and Mahatma Gandhi, would he endorse this? Please listen to the entire statement. I request your channel to play the entire bite of this man in presence of 2 ministers. He said कि देश में आग लग जाएगी, देश में आग लग जाएगी अगर बाल को भी छुआ तो. So this is the open threat being made against the country and against the Prime Minister. You can not like Mr. Modi, that's okay, but you have to respect the position of the Prime Minister. You can't give open threats against the Prime Minister. I demand his immediate arrest, but more importantly, will the Congress party now tell us what kind of satyagraha is this? This is violence, violence and violence only because Rahul Gandhi is maintaining corruption for silence, silence and silence.
Right. Shehzad, the Congress leaders who've launched a nationwide agitation claim that they're being manhandled by the police. Many of them who've been detained were dragged, were pulled, were thrashed by the police, and now they want to launch an agitation accusing the police of mismanagement and manhandling them. So this almost is a narrative that the Congress is now has almost indulged in, while they're literally cutting away from the actual cause. ED summons seems to be now in the back burner. Their purpose now is to protest against the police for manhandling.
You know, the Congress party, like I said yesterday, we have PAN card, Aadhaar card, they have a victimhood card. First of all, they could go against the ED and get relief from a court, they don't go. Chidambaram comes and spin doctors on television channels. Now they are saying that the police hit them. In Assam, a cop was beaten up. Please play the cop's bite. It is available with you also. Please show how the violent protesters of Congress party beat him up. And even if something has happened, they can go to a court of law and present the evidence that, look, we are being illegally tortured or illegally hit by some agency or cop. But they don't do that. Instead, they say we have the right to burn tires, we have the right to violate 144, we have the right to break barricades, we have the right to assault cops, and we have the right to stand up in a public platform and say that we'll burn down the country and we'll ensure the death of the Prime Minister. Are you saying that is the logic that the Congress party is giving? This is not Mahatma Gandhi's satyagraha. This is Rahul Gandhi's corruption ka duragraha. It is totally condemnable. Mr. Uddhav Thackeray's government, why is it allowing this man a free run? he should be arrested, and should the Congress party not come out and apologize for this?
Shehzad, a mere FIR that's been registered in Maharashtra, do you think that will be taken to the logical end?
You see, Maharashtra government has only taken action against their political critics or political opponents. They don't take action against those who run challenge to the rule of law, whether it's that PFI agent who had threatened violence on the streets or whether it is the Sheikh Hussain. The question that I'm asking, however, is that I would request your channel to go to Mr. Surjewala and ask him that he calls this a satyagraha. Their people have beaten up cops in Assam, their people have burnt tires in Delhi, their people have resorted to violence in various parts, and their people are openly threatening the Prime Minister and are openly threatening Agjani in the country. Is this satyagraha or this is duragraha? And why is Randeep Surjewala not answering the 10 questions the BJP is posed to him? Instead, they are silent on questions and violent on streets. This is like saying Rahul Gandhi is evasive and needy and Kader is aggressive on the streets of Delhi.
Well, you know, at this point, we're looking at the Congress channelizing their entire energy towards backing Rahul Gandhi. They're calling this vendetta politics, blaming the BJP for misusing the central agency, and also raising several questions on why many BJP leaders who had ED summons in the past, none of them have been pursued. So why only the opposition under ED's target? Is that not at the behest of the BJP, is what the Congress questions.
In the last 8 years, have they ever gone to any court of law and proven this allegation that the agencies are acting selectively or are being used for vendetta politics? Surely they have great lawyers like Mr. Chidambaram. They could have gone to court and proven if this was vendetta politics. Secondly, when they went on the issue of Rafale, that Rafale mein chori hui hai, bhrashtachar hua hai, Supreme Court threw their case out and made Rahul Gandhi apologize for his comments. So this is the common victimhood card they have. But I challenge Mr. Surjewala, if they have evidence against any BJP leaders and the agencies are acting selectively, go to court. But all he does every morning, morning after morning, is come play the victimhood card on television. I challenge him to answer the specific questions in this case that we posed to him. I challenge him to tell us whether this is a satyagraha or is this a violent duragraha, and why is the Maharashtra police not arresting this Sheikh Hussain? ऐसा क्या रिश्ता है शेख हुसैन के साथ कि उद्धव ठाकरे जी की सरकार और पुलिस उनको गिरफ्तार नहीं कर पा रही?
Well, they've already filed an FIR against Sheikh Hussain. In fact, the Maharashtra leader now has been booked. But the question is, will he be arrested? He's made some remarks. Now, not too sure yet. We need clarity on what are the sections that he's booked under. But these remarks, ideally under law, Shehzad, what punishment should be given?
These are actually, I don't know what sections they've invoked, but because the full statement I've heard, which you will also get in some time, I hope, is also calling for violence across the country. So I think the strictest provisions of law, including 150A, 505, 290 and other sections that apply in this case should be applied. But apart from that, this is also threatening national security. So I hope the wisdom of the Maharashtra police, a competent force, if it is left to do its job independently, will apply its mind. And if anybody wants to burn down the country because they want to protect the corrupt, I know they know the sections that need to be applied, and they will apply those sections hopefully and arrest this man. This man should be in jail, but more importantly, Surjewala should come and answer the few questions that we are asking him, rather than playing the constant victimhood, selectiveness, all of these cards, not going to court and just crying every day, but not answering a single question as to why 2,000 crore rupees of India's money